On the eastern front line, littered with ruins and open fields scarred by the tracks of combat vehicles, elite units of Ukraine's 79th Separate Air Assault Brigade and Ukraine's 53rd Mechanized Brigade are conducting a relentless search and destroy operation around Myrnohrad. The town is a critical point, the primary target of Russian forces' attempts to penetrate from the north and encircle Ukrainian defenses. However, every enemy movement is monitored, their every step toward the town turning into a march toward destruction. The aerial footage begins with a sweeping view of the desolate, open terrain, but the serenity is deceptive. Ukrainian surveillance cameras detect subtle movement, a group of Russian infantrymen moving cautiously along natural paths hidden by vegetation and the contours of the terrain. They are trying to exploit gaps in observation, moving in loose formation to reduce the risk of detection. However, from the sky, Ukrainian eyes had already locked onto their position, and seconds later, the first explosion struck near the group. The ground rose with a spray of dust and debris, forcing the Russian troops to scatter in panic, but their dispersal only made them even more vulnerable. At the same time, further attacks came incessantly, one after another, precision explosions hitting their positions. Any attempt to take cover behind a hollow or vegetation turned into a deadly trap. Their advance slowed, then stopped completely. The path they had hoped would lead to encirclement, now a point of annihilation. A greater threat loomed. A Russian armored vehicle was moving toward the town, attempting to use its speed and armor protection to break through the front lines. The vehicle's engine roared, leaving tracks in the ground as it advanced, believing its armor would give it an edge. In the following footage, the Russian troops had made a poor decision in their attack, having entered the kill zone. A Ukrainian reconnaissance drone followed from above, maintaining a safe distance while transmitting real-time data. Seconds later, the precision strike was launched, and the first explosion rocked the vehicle, forcing it to a screeching halt. The crew lost momentum, and more importantly, the initiative. The second strike was more precise, a direct hit on the vehicle, halting their attempt completely. The vehicle transformed from a penetration tool into a motionless metal wreck in the open field, the breakthrough attempt ending before it even reached the city's outskirts. In another sector, Russian infantry groups tried a different approach. They moved in small units, exploiting the distance between personnel to minimize losses if detected. But that tactic wasn't enough. Ukrainian drones detected their movements from the start, cameras following their every step, every pause, every attempt to duck and hide. Then the assault began, precision explosions hitting their lines, disrupting coordination and destroying their formation. They lost direction, lost cover, and ultimately lost the ability to continue the mission, none of them achieving their objectives. The joint operation of the 79th and 53rd Brigades demonstrated one crucial fact: no movement went unnoticed. Every Russian attempt, whether through small infantry infiltrations or armored vehicle penetrations, was halted before reaching Myrnohrad. The Ukrainian reconnaissance drones and assault units worked as an integrated system. Rapid detection was followed by precision destruction, ensuring that the enemy never got a chance to build momentum. The planned encirclement attempt turned into a series of failures in the open field. In Myrnohrad, Ukraine's defense line remains unshaken, guarded by spies in the sky and a strike force always ready to crush any approaching threat. Currently, the average daily Russian casualty rate during January 2026 was 1,023, according to Ukrainian General Staff reporting. a moderate decrease from 1,130 in December 2025. This follows 4 consecutive monthly increases in the average daily casualty rate from August 2025 to December 2025, the UK Defence Intelligence reports. Russia has likely sustained approximately 1,245,000 casualties, killed and wounded, since launching the full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, and approximately 40,000 so far in 2026. Territorial gains in January 2026 are likely lower than November 2025 and December 2025, which is consistent with in-year trends. The most likely scenario for the next 6 months is a continuation of attritional warfare. Russian advances will remain primarily tactical, mostly in areas less well defended by Ukrainian forces. As previously reported, Russia has introduced a new law which requires Ukrainian children in temporarily occupied Ukrainian territory to possess a Russian passport in order to travel abroad, aside from Belarus, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, and temporarily occupied regions of Georgia. The law, which reportedly took effect from January 20, 2026, applies to all children under the age of 14 within Russia and the Ukrainian territories. At the same time, specialists from the Primary Unit of Ukraine's Defense Intelligence have dealt significant new blows to Russian air defense network. Footage of the strikes was released on official Telegram channel, showcasing the precision and effectiveness of Ukrainian operations. At the end of January, the Primary Unit carried out targeted attacks on enemy air defense systems along the entire front line. These operations demonstrate the increasing sophistication of Ukraine's intelligence units in identifying and neutralizing high-value targets deep in enemy territory. The strikes focused on expensive and strategically important equipment that was intended to protect Russian troops and logistical hubs. Systematically dismantling these defenses, Ukrainian forces are weakening the enemy's ability to operate safely in contested areas. Among the destroyed systems were radar units, such as the 48YA6K1 Podlet, 55ZH6U Nebo-U, and 1L119 Nebo SVU, all of which play crucial roles in detecting and tracking aerial threats. The attacks also eliminated a rare Arctic Tor M2DT surface-to-air missile system, highlighting the precision of the Ukrainian operation. The effectiveness of these operations stems from careful planning and intelligence gathering. The primary operatives combine reconnaissance, electronic warfare, and tactical strikes to systematically degrade the enemy's defensive capabilities without exposing themselves to unnecessary risk. Video released by the Defense Intelligence provides a detailed look at how the unit engages targets deep behind enemy lines. These clips not only confirm the destruction of high-value systems, but also demonstrate Ukraine's ability to conduct complex operations in heavy